buying his base. Michael Carnaval is branch manager and financial advisor. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, 400 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Massachusetts. Michael Carnaval is branch manager and financial advisor. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, 400 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Massachusetts. 1-800-657-9126. A member of FINRA SIPC and are not deposits, not insured by FDIC or any governmental agency, not guaranteed by Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank, and subject to risk, may lose value. Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank is not affiliated with Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated. The information contained in this report does not purport to be a complete description of the securities markets or developments referred to in the material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Any information is not a complete summary or statement of all available data necessary for making an investment decision and does not constitute a recommendation. Any opinions are those of Michael Carnaval and not necessarily those of RJFS or Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. Well, everybody, it's another Conversations With, and with me is Michael Carnaval. And, well, you know, you and I, Michael, have been talking about this thing since we started when it was around 660, was it, 6,600?
Yes.
Somewhere in there. And we said, well, someday it's going to get to 8. And then we were talking about 10.
Yep.
And then we said 12. And then, do you ever think it'll get to 15?
Yeah.
And then we thought 20
would be the top.
Oh, it ever get to 20.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting there saying, we could come out of December at 24.
We could. I mean,
we're 600 points away.
Yeah, October, 23,000 for the first time ever, but sort of more surprising because October, we recall, was not historically a good month.
No.
That was up 1,000 points.
Yeah, in the month.
In the month.
I was watching, I think it was CNBC, and Bob Pisani, one of the guys there, and he was saying, you know, I'm standing here, folks, and I'm looking up, waiting for the closing bell, and I'm saying, October's always a bad month. What is going on?
Yeah.
And he says, we're going to break another record today.
Another record, yeah.
You know? And I'm looking at him, and he really was dumbfounded.
Oh, well, I think
he just
a
said,
lot of it is happening.
We're going to break another record.
Yeah.
You know, and then he said to his buddy there, who was on with him, and he says, and we're going to go into November and December, which are two of the strongest months of the year.
Yeah.
Where is this going to end?
Well, up 5,000 points since the election. You know.
Yeah. Well, the president will be taking credit for that.
And he has numerous times,
yes.
numerous tweets, right?
Yeah,
He's come out and said you know.
Look what he's done.
Yeah. Of course, you know, I always say, you know.
I mean, it really started with Obama, in
right.
reality, but
he'd be blamed if it was down, so you got to, you know.
Oh, no, listen, he's the warden.
Yeah.
And the warden gets the blame or the credit.
Yeah.
You know, so, but 23 and pennies.
Yeah, up 4.5% for the month of October, up 19% this year. And that's, you know, on the backdrop of 2% inflation, people who have been in the market have really
had some great increases.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm like
real
a kid,
money.
I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't wait for the paperwork to come.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't tell you how many customers have said, you know, geez, I made more money in my investment account than I make in my wages.
That's right.
It's been that type of environment.
Yeah. And you know, and it just keeps rolling along.
It really does.
You know, I mean, we'll have a day where it'll drop, and the next day it's up 160 points.
Gains it right back.
Right back.
Yeah. I mean, you know, past years, you know, if it dropped 150, then it'd be followed by another triple-digit drop the next day. Before you know it, you'd be down 500-600 points. And right now, that's not the case.
Well, you know, the thing that amazes me is the people who are in it are gleeful. But there are those folks who have either got out or don't trust it. And I was with some people the other evening, and I happened to mention that, wow, the market's going. And he said, yeah, when's the crash coming? And I looked at him, I said, there's no crash. Yeah, there's going to, wait till it just goes boom. I said, well, it can't go down very much. Well, what do you mean? I said, well, as it increases, the base keeps coming up with it. So even if it goes down, Let's say it goes down 1,000 points. It's 22.4. What's the problem?
Yeah, yeah. There are really a lot of people out there, you know, with that same thought. You know, just watch out. I mean, not today, but it's going to
Yeah.
really drop a lot.
Yeah.
Never, and history shows that never happens.
No.
You know, it drops when you least expect it. Never drops when you think it's gonna.
Yeah.
You know,
And it just rolls along.
just
So
keeps,
we can.
just keeps rolling along. I mean, you know, not much happened with interest rates last month. The technical stuff, you know, after a 1,000-point rally, still doesn't look bad. So there's nothing out there that says,
Watch
you know,
out. Yeah.
watch out. You
Yeah.
know, it could happen any
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Although a lot of headlines are saying that, and I've found that, you know, through history, when you see those type of headlines, you know, they never happen.
No.
You know, they never happen. And there was a lot of news last month.
Well, that I think the most amazing. There was a time when any kind of breaking news, you'd get the market would react, whether it was up or down. There'd be a reaction.
Yep.
Not happening.
Not
And we probably have more breaking news today and every day than we've had in a long time.
Oh yeah. I mean, month of October. You know, 30 years ago, you had the crash of 1987.
Yeah.
So heading into the month, you know, a lot of people said, well, it's, you know, it's going to be a bad.
Yeah.
The exact opposite has happened.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, Bob, that fella from
Yeah.
CNBC said, well, boy, October is a downer, but not this month.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No, it's. And even if you were to lose 1,000 points, well, you're back to where you were at the beginning of October.
Yeah.
It's nothing
Yeah.
dramatic.
No, and we got, what, now 3 days left?
Yep.
Yeah, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then we're into November. So,
Yeah.
so the chances are it's going to hold, in, you know, somewhere over 23.
I would think so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would think so. You know, interest rates this month, I mean, Canada met on interest rates. They didn't do anything. They kept them the same. The European Union met on interest rates. They didn't do anything. They kept them the same. You know, our Fed is going to meet on November 1st, and it's not likely they're going to do anything
they're not
there
gonna-
either.
Well, but there's nothing to do.
No.
Everything's it's moving along.
Yeah.
Inflation is holding itself. It's not moving anywhere.
And just when, you're right. And just when you think things are quiet, well, the president says something,
Well,
and
yeah.
that starts it
Well,
up
not only
again.
that, but even unemployment numbers
Yeah.
were down last week.
What was it? The weekly number, was it a 44-year low?
Low, yeah. 122 or something.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
It was way down.
Yeah, 222.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
So with all that stuff going on, I wouldn't be betting on the stock market dropping a lot.
No.
It's going to go up and down.
Yeah.
It could drop at any time, but a big drop, as I've said before, I just don't see it.
No, I mean,
really don't.
I mean, like I said to this fellow, you think it's going to go down to 15?
Yeah.
Is that what
Right.
you're looking at?
Right.
That's a crash.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what are you talking? You
Right.
know? And I said, a couple of points here or there.
Yeah.
I said, that's all that can happen.
If it goes down half of what it's gained this year, you finish the year up 9 or 10%.
Yeah.
Well, an
You'll
election.
you'll take that anytime.
That's right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at any banking institution, and I mean, I know I got a bunch of paperwork from Capital Bank.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're raving about. They got a great plan. All they got to do is give them $5,000, and they'll give me 1.25.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
If I got $5,000, it's going somewhere else,
Yeah.
not to you.
Oh, yeah.
For 1.25.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's scary. I mean, when you see it. I mean, and they think that's a great rate.
Well, it's been under 1 for so long that
Yeah, yeah.
people see 1.5 and some of them jump.
Yeah, they get excited.
But I mean, it's hard to see how the stock market, you know, if you don't need the money right away,
Yeah.
it's hard to see how the stock market can't do 1.5%, you know,
Yeah.
over a year.
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, people this year, if everything just holds,
Oh,
stays
yeah.
the same, you get at the end of this year and people are going to be up 16, 17%. You know, it's just hello. You
I
know.
know. Yeah, it's hard to believe,
And
really.
as you mentioned, there are people out there who, depending on the size of their investment portfolio, will earn more money in the market this year than they may make as a salary.
Oh, I've seen that. I don't know how many calls I've had this month alone, people saying that. You know, my account has gone up more than I've made in my job
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unheard of, really.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And so gleefully smile and say thank
Absolutely.
you. You know.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Okay.
Don't.
Yeah. I mean.
Well, I mean, and now I guess he's looking for a new Fed chair.
Well, that's the question of who's it going to be. I mean, you know, they've narrowed it down to supposedly 3 people. I've said all along, and I'm still saying it, that he's going to renominate Yellen, even though the polls don't say that. But, you know, I base that basically on, well, she's been good for the stock market. He needs that. I mean, it's all he's got.
And she's done a great job.
Market. She's done a great job. The Treasury Secretary wants somebody else, and Congress or the Senate, the Republican senators want somebody else. And I just say, when was the last time Trump did something that somebody else told him to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well,
I'd be shocked if
he
she's
doesn't.
not
He
back.
does what he wants when he wants
Right.
to, and he
Right.
doesn't care what they say.
No, he doesn't. No.
You know, and it will be to your point. He's already somebody gave him a name, and he's already said no. He's
You're
not
right.
going to
Yes.
use that fella. No, he's already thrown him out. So, you know, and you may be valid.
Well,
It may
we'll
just-
know. He says beginning of November he'll make the selection, so
Yeah.
it would not surprise me if he keeps Janet Yellen, and that would be good news for the market.
Oh yeah. Oh, they love her.
And you stop and you think, well, then is that the reason the market has had a tremendous run here this month? That, again, the people in the know already know what the decision's going to be. He's just playing games now.
Well, I mean, look, there's not a president that's ever served us. There's not a governor who's ever served us who hasn't played political games. I mean, they call testing the water. You throw names out of it. I remember when I was involved in government with a governor, and they'd leak names to see what the reaction was, to see if he got any, if everybody went, oh, him, the governor wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. You know, he'd go look for somebody else, and they float names out there to test the water, so to speak. So, you know, you never know what they're doing. So
I mean, he's talked very favorable of her, you know, in the last couple of days, and there would be, to me anyways, there'd
Yeah.
be no reason for him to do that unless he's laying the groundwork.
he's beginning to tell everybody else, I got
Right.
my person.
Right.
You know.
And that would be, I mean, I think that would be good for
Yeah.
the stock market. You know, our own Federal Reserve President, Eric Rosengreen at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, spoke at a conference at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston this month. And he said, well, real estate's too high, and he thinks stock prices are at their peak. So, I mean, we'll see if he's right.
I was talking to a real estate person, and of course, their dilemma is they haven't got enough inventory.
Okay.
Anything they get, they sell right away. But this person indicated, so to his point, that real estate's way overpriced right now.
Okay.
And that in next year you watch it start to come down.
Come down.
Well, and this is what this is because they said when it gets up that high, people who weren't going to sell do,
Okay.
and because they want to
Get the price.
I can make 150 grand,
Mm-hmm.
but I only owe this much. Whoa, I can do, and then if the market that happens, and you get a lot of them on the market, then it'll slow the market down. This is what this person's concerned about.
Okay.
Doesn't say it's going to happen,
Right, right.
but concerned that it could.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that next year could be one of those years where people get greedy, is the way she put it.
Okay.
People get greedy and they say, oh, I can make 150, 200 grand. Honey, let's sell the house.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
buy something we can walk away with. You know? And then that over shoots the market. So now you got a lot of property on there,
Yeah.
and the prices are up high, and people now can say, oh, I don't need your house. There's one over here.
Okay.
And they start bargaining.
Okay,
And
they have
then-
leverage, yeah.
Yeah, and they start to bring the prices down. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, the Red Sox will not win the World Series this year, but
No, they won't.
that's not all bad, because we did some research, and in years that the Red Sox win the World Series, the stock market is only up 43% of the time the following year.
Oh, okay.
So, some good news there.
Good news there. Yeah, very good news.
You know?
Yeah.
And then we've obviously got the World Series going on now. We want to see the Dodgers win because the market does better when the Dodgers win, and Houston loses. Houston's only been in one World
Yeah,
Series,
yeah,
but when
yeah.
they lost it, the market was up 16% the following year.
Yeah, well, that's good then.
So-
So I'm going to start, I'll be for the Dodgers.
Dodgers and
Yeah. Well, I kind of was
goodness
for the
for the Red
Dodgers in
Sox.
the first place because I don't like Houston because
Yeah.
they did our boys in.
they did. They
And,
did.
I mean, I just think they outmanaged our manager, but that's beside
They
the point.
did. Well,
You know, that
now we
doesn't-
have somebody new.
We have somebody new coming in.
We'll
so
see how that.
We'll see how that goes.
And even today, the
Oh, big
Yankees have
story.
someone new. Yeah.
The Yankees got somebody new?
Yep. They fired Girardi.
You're
today.
kidding me.
Today, yep. After 10
Wow.
years, driving out here, I heard he had the best, over the past 10 years, he had the best record of any
Manager.
Yeah.
And he took a team that everybody said was going to come in third or fourth.
Right.
Put them in the. They went all the way to the finals.
Yep.
And-
The seventh game.
Lost to this and pushed Houston to the seventh game.
Yep.
And they cleaned them out.
They cleaned him out today.
Oh wow! So now there'll be a job there.
So there'll be a job there?
Yeah, maybe Farrell will find
That would,
something.
now that would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
right?
know.
I mean, and then the Yankees
What
go
a-
on to win the World Series next
Well,
year.
we'll see
I
what
mean,
happens, yeah.
how many times have we seen
But, well, the other thing too is we got Pedroia now. I
Right.
saw a big story in the paper this morning that now Pedroia is going to be out, and he won't be. He will miss April and May. He won't be back till the 1st of June if everything works good.
Right.
And now they're saying we better sign Nunes right away
Yeah.
because he's a free agent, and don't dare let him go because we need him.
Right.
You know, and so
Right.
we'll see what happens there.
Time
And
will tell.
the thing that surprised me, you talk about sports, is I would have bet anybody that Dabrowski would have brought in Asmus from Detroit because he hired him out there.
Right, yes.
And he didn't even interview him.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't even
Okay.
interview him.
Yeah,
He met with Cora, and that was it. He made his decision.
interesting.
You know, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so let's go to the economy and
Well, things that, again, rolling along. I mean, inflation picked up a bit in September. Now it's over the Fed's 2% target, but a lot of that really was, could have been hurricane related with the increase in oil prices.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to see what happens,
Yeah.
for October. It'll be the first week in November before we get that number. Leading economic indicators, again, can't play too much into the September result. It was negative, but again, you had the hurricanes, which shut off a lot of business.
Yeah.
So again, can't be too excited about that. Jobless claims continue to be very historically low. We're now at 138 straight weeks of under 300,000 new jobless claims, and that continues to be the longest streak since 1970. And there were a lot less workers in 1970
Oh, yeah,
than
there
there are
are
today.
today, yeah.
So this number is, unbelievable. The other number that hasn't been getting a lot of play is the people who've been out of work a long time. They call them the long-term unemployed. Generally, if you've been out of work more than 26 weeks and you're still actively looking for a job, you're counted as long-term unemployed. That now is at its 26th straight week of under 2 million.
wow.
So, I mean, a lot of people working.
Well, but the thing is that you drive along the highway, and there's hiring signs everywhere.
They are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you see big signs out in front of a McDonald's or a Burger King. Dunkin' Donuts has got big signs.
Yep.
I mean, they're desperate for help.
And they're paying, some of these are paying up.
Well, they have to get them. They can't. What's gone on? A lot of people have found good jobs, and so therefore, the jobs that the Dunkins and the fast food jobs, which traditionally were low paying, jobs, now they desperately need the help.
Yeah.
And you go into some of these places, and you can tell they're in trouble because there's 8 people waiting in line for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and they have. I was in some place over last weekend. They actually have the application at the register.
Yeah.
We're looking for help. Are you
Yeah.
looking for a job? Take
Yeah.
an application right
Well,
there.
Well, you go to a Marshall's, they have a table,
Okay.
and they have somebody sitting there, and waiting, begging you to come to work for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's retail positions are there. So I mean, realistically, if somebody wants to work, other than the person who says, "I'm not working for $12 an hour.
Right.
I'm worth 17." And I don't think that's a sincere person because if they want a job, it's there.
Right. Right.
I mean, I was talking to a fella who's got a place to rent. He owns a little strip mall, and he's got a store empty, and he wants $1,000 for it, and somebody offered him 600, and he said, I turned him down. I said, why? Well, because I want 1,000. I said, well, how long has it been empty? He said, well, 3 months. I said, so you could have had $1,800 for those 3 months, and now you have nothing. Yeah, but I can get 1,000. When?
Yeah.
So far, you've got.
You can't.
You had a
so
guy that
far.
offered you 600.
Yeah.
Had you taken that, the worst you're going to lose is 400 a month if that 1,000 is bothering you.
Right.
But that's a paper amount of money.
Right.
It's not real.
Right.
In the meantime, you would have had $1,800.
Which is real.
That's real.
Yeah.
Nope. I'll hold on for my 1,000.
Yeah.
And you know what? A year from now,
He's still going to be holding.
he's still going to be waiting for some angel to fly in, which isn't going to happen.
Or he'll then rent it for $600.
Well, here's the funny part. He's rented it twice. The first guy lasted 4 months because he was paying him the 1,000. And he wasn't doing enough business to pay the rent. So he shut down and left. It was vacant for about 8 or 9 months. Somebody else came along and he gave him his 1,000. That fellow lasted 5 months. And then he went out because he quit. I said, how many more times is that going to happen to you before you understand that they can't make it on that kind of rent?
Right. Yeah.
And he doesn't want to hear it.
No. Now some people say, I'll hold it until I find.
I'll get somebody.
And he probably will at some point, but he'll have lost so much it won't matter.
Obviously, he has. You know.
It's like the people who are looking for high interest rates. How long are you going to wait?
Yeah, yeah.
How much? What have you missed?
What have you missed? Yeah.
You know, if you've been waiting since '09, you've missed 18,000 points in the
Yeah.
Dow.
I mean, it ain't going to be 5%.
No.
So sorry.
Right.
You know.
And even if it does get there, you still can't make up what
You
you've
can't
lost.
make up your money.
Yeah, you can never make up.
Well, it's just like the people. You and I have had this conversation numerous times. The people who, when the market went to 6,600, panicked and jumped out,
Right.
and now they're sitting there and it's all over but the cheering.
Yeah.
They can never get. I mean, they can go back in, but they're going
Never
back
gonna
in.
get that.
They'll never.
You won't live long enough.
They won't live long enough to come up with that, with
Right.
that surge
A
that
triple,
we've,
a
that we've
quadruple now.
quadruple that we've all enjoyed.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, was it scary? Yeah. Did it make you nervous? Yeah. And like I was told, just don't open the envelope
Right.
if it's going to bother you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but have faith.
Yeah,
You know.
betting against the U.S. usually hasn't worked.
No, no.
Long term.
And, you know, as you said, you're betting against, you know, I'm always reminded, and I tell this to people, someone who's going to fly, and they run in and buy flight insurance. And I said, you're betting the plane's going to crash. No, I'm not. I said, yeah, you are. I said, because if that plane doesn't crash, that piece of insurance you bought is worthless. So you're betting that the plane's going to crash.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest problem you got. If it does, you ain't going to get the money. Somebody else is.
Right. Yeah.
I said, so don't buy flight insurance.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No.
And-
No, absolutely right.
you know,
But
There are people,
people
who
continue
do.
to do.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's just amazing.
I said, I don't bet the thing. I bet it's going to land safely.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Because if I think it's going to crash, I'm
I'm
not
not
going
going
to
to get on the plane anyway.
Right.
So, anyway,
Absolutely.
moving right along.
Well, then the last thing is the employment report. You know, how many? You know, we talk about how many people lose their job, and then we also talk about how many new jobs are created. Again, September actually saw non-farm payrolls decrease by 33,000. But again, you had 2 hurricanes.
Oh,
you had
yeah.
a lot of weather issues,
Yeah.
so it doesn't
I mean,
really.
look at all the businesses that had no choice but to close.
Right. So again, a lot of the negative stuff that happened in September, you know, probably were just a one-time event based on, you know, a couple of big hurricanes that hit.
But then look, they're all going to rebuild.
That's the upside.
So now the upside is now into October, November. There's going to be a lot of construction going
Right.
on. There'll be all kinds of jobs out there
Right.
and great opportunities for folks to get some work.
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt about it. There's a big rebuilding that is gonna
Oh yeah.
go on,
Yeah.
and that's going to be reflected. You know, the bad numbers in September because of the hurricane are going to now be reflected in the good numbers because of the rebuilding on.
Going into the final couple of months of this year and the beginning of next year, you're going to have some incredible growth numbers.
You are, yeah. And so if you get that, it's hard to see how this is going to end.
No, no,
You know.
no.
And there's just too many people negative. I mean, looking for it to really drop big,
Yeah.
and there's nothing that says it's gonna.
I always check on Monday what they call the power ratings for the National Football
Okay.
League.
Yeah.
And I looked this week, and the Patriots are number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who writes the article says, hard to remember when they were 2-2, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
He says they're on their way.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
watch out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so you kind of chuckle. Although the news today, we're losing Hightower now.
Okay. I didn't
You know.
hear that.
Yeah, Hightower is out for the year. He
Oh, really?
wrecked his shoulder last Sunday.
Okay.
And so he's out. He's done for the year. But as the coach says, we just move somebody in.
Yeah. They'll find somebody else.
We move up.
Yeah, I
Somebody
mean-
else got a great opportunity.
Right. And that's more than words because
It's
the
what they
results
do.
have been there.
It's what they do.
Yeah. They've been
Yeah.
able to do it.
But I thought when I read the article, I really chuckled. Look who's back in second
Yeah.
place. It says, hard to remember when they were 2-2, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And it said, watch out.
Yep.
And it says, you look down that schedule, ain't too many teams are going to be able to beat them.
That's right.
You know.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And then you hear these commentators. I mean, they're just amazed. Even the naysayers are hard pressed to say anything about Brady.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
there was, Troy Aikman used to kind of beat on him a little bit,
Yeah.
and even Aikman now is saying it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
He gets better, not older.
Well, it's like the stock market. It is going to end one day, but
Yeah.
there's no signs that
Yeah,
anytime soon.
Ride that pony all you can.
Of course,
boy.
yeah.
And again, it was interesting. I have a great friend who had an opportunity to be at an event, and Kraft was there. Bob Kraft was there, and somebody was talking to him and asked him, and he says, "Let me tell you something." He says, "I don't know that, and I know that Coach Belichick doesn't know when he's going to die. He said, but I will tell you this: I know Tom Brady well enough to know that the moment he feels that he can't do the job, he'll be the first one to say so. We will not have to wait. We will not have to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
He will tell us." He says, if that's 5 more years, great. If it's 3 more, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, but I'm telling you, he will not play 1 minute of a game when he doesn't feel he's at his best. He says, that's the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
He will not embarrass himself.
Well,
You know.
he hasn't today. So.
Not quite,
I mean,
but anyway, it's just, it is interesting. And as we say, we look at these things, and it just keeps rolling along, Michael.
it really does.
And you say to yourself, any day now. Well, there's no any day.
No.
And as I say, there's still a few naysayers out there looking for a crash. But,
A lot of them.
Well, but the point is, as the market increases, the base comes up with it. So
Yeah.
even if there's a dip, what's it going to go down? I mean, worst case scenario, 300 or 400 points in a day.
Well, yeah. I mean, and this year it's, I hear, I hate Trump, but I heard the same people. They didn't like Obama. They didn't like Bush. They didn't like Clinton.
No.
I think the last one that anyone really liked was Reagan.
Yeah.
That was over 30-something years
ago. Yeah. Well, I was watching this morning, and it's the 54th anniversary when they're going to release the Kennedy papers.
Okay. Yeah.
54 years
Yeah.
ago, and I think it's like yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember his
Oh, yeah.
press conferences, and he wore a tall hat
Yeah.
and tails to his inauguration, and it's been 58, 59 years
And
ago.
what has happened? What technological events have happened since then? I mean, that's why you
He-
invest.
He talked about going to the moon.
Yeah.
We've been and back.
Right.
Twice.
Yeah.
you
We
know.
don't want to go anymore.
We don't go anymore.
Right,
Now we're
now
going
it's
to Mars.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, all the things he talked about, we've already done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And that's why you invest for the long time.
I'm always reminded of Albert Einstein in 1939. He was being interviewed, and he said, "The more technology we create, the more idiots we will make." And I see these people walking around with phones.
Oh, yeah.
And I was out the other day, and someone's taking pictures with a phone, And I said, you know, when I was growing up, we had a camera for that.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to talk on the telephone, we had one of those at the house.
Yeah.
And you picked it up and talked to somebody. And they
Dialed
laughed.
away.
And they laughed. Now you run around with
Yeah.
a phone to take a picture. And we chuckled.
Yeah.
And yet, they're the idiots are out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Now the TV guys love it because people take videos of everything.
Oh, I mean,
You know, some guy yells at somebody on a plane. We got a video of that.
you almost don't need camera people.
No, they
anymore.
don't. They get all kinds of.
Really? Yeah.
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 You know, some guy running down the street. We got a video of that.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
and it gets to a point where you can't go anywhere. You say, I wonder who's watching.
Well,
me.
that's the thing nowadays. You know, you have to, you know, and it's amazing at the number of dumb things that get done. I mean, don't
yeah.
people realize? I mean,
Well, you know, you go to any kind of a store now. You walk outside, and they've already if you stole something, they wait for you outside.
oh, and then they grab you.
Because they got you on TV.
Yeah.
You know, so. Well, Michael, once again, thanks very much, and we'll look forward to another great program next month. And who knows where we'll go?
We'll just have to wait and see.
That's it. And there you are, folks, and other conversations with